Drape fabric straight with the grain.
So I'm going to lay this on the straight grain here. This is the cross grain. There's a little bit of a stretch here. And I want to create this dart by finding the point about right in here. That's my apex.
Start at the apex, make a fold over the curve.
So working off of that, create this line that folds down. So anyway, once we cut this line and then create the seam there, it's going to do that. Okay, there's my apex, and now it won't lay flat.
3 types of darts: straight, concave, and convex.
So to transfer this to paper, we're going to cut, I'm just going to cut this straight line. Okay, and now this is what that piece looks like with all of that missing. And that will create the seam that's going to make this fit over the apex.
A seam is a stitching line that sews the darts together.
So this gets transferred, finding your grain line. The dot paper has numbers on it that line up with either your straight grain or your cross grain. Okay, so now my straight grain lines up, and to transfer this dart, this is my seam line, so I'm actually going to just mark this. Oops, right there. And mark this. Okay, and then when you mark it with this, you're going to be able to see the little dots on the paper.
So these are the 3 kinds of darts that we're going to be working with. This is a straight dart, and it makes a cone when it is ironed. So you can see it comes to a point. These are 2 curved darts. This one curves around a ball, and when I turn it, it makes a very nice curve. This one, which is an opposite curve, when I iron it and turn it, it actually is more of an opposite curve, how it curves around into here. So now I'm going to do a combination of these curves in order to cover something like this. And so what's going to happen is that I curve around here. I had to fix this little corner. When I curve here, I want to cut this away, but I also want to snip it so that the seam will open up when I turn it. So I'm doing little teeny snips into here so that when I turn the whole thing, it should fit right around here and right in here. We're going to attempt to make a cover for this toy and maybe even turn it into a plush toy. So I'm just going to do some rough things over the top. I've got a circle that I traced. And I'm going to do a couple of things here. So even if I'm not that good at doing it, this is a good way to start. Basically making these kind of, trying to get it to go around. Probably I'm going to just build this very roughly this way. by doing these. Okay. And then I might have to do these pieces as add-ons, but this might work here. So what I'm going to do is maybe cut it so that it's halfway, and then make this a symmetrical, not symmetrical, but the same on the other side. So I could bring this around and make a seam right here, and maybe some of these darts. Now here, this is going to have to be cut off and probably attached on as a separate piece, that head. Okay, so this gets me the main form. I might draw some lines on it just to tell me what's going on here, because I want that to come down. So I might actually snip in here. This has got to go down. See, that went down like that. And then I'm going to take these and say, well, what do I have to do to flatten this out? And probably just go in and cut these darts away. Okay, so now this gives me kind of an idea of what these pattern pieces might look like. I mean, this is still pretty rough, but I get kind of a sense, and I could just write some notes and say, you know, maybe this is that top piece. This is the, I'm just going to call this the fin. I don't know what this thing is. The head is going to have to attach somewhere here. So what I might do is just cut this around so I know that the head's got to go in there somewhere. Head and neck gets attached as a separate piece. Now see, this thing kind of moves around, so that's optional where I'm actually putting it. But I could say head. And then, you know, to make this more uniform, I might do a couple more darts, because I know that it's going to have to be more that way. Some more darts. So then when I put it around in here, so you see now, kind of on its side, now these come over and they close. So that gives me a general idea of how this works. So probably what I would do is I would cut fabric, 2 pieces of this, 1 for each side. I would probably make some sort of large shape for the head. These things I probably would just add on, and this little guy probably is an add-on as well. Paint on the fabric, you know, paint different colors. I'm really not dealing with this thing turning. I'm going to do it as though it's fixed.